You're listening to the Footy Banter podcast with Ben, Chris, and Dan.
Certainly are.
Certainly are, gents.
Certainly are. Indubitably.
Can you believe I'm back this week?
2 weeks in a row. He's
I know.
fronted up 2 weeks in a row.
I
He
don't
did have the
believe
long
it.
break, though, I guess. He had like an 8-day break.
I did.
Weren't you here last week?
I was here last week. That's what I'm saying. You
Oh,
literally
sorry.
just said 2 in a row.
Sorry, I was looking at the rundown and I didn't realise what you were just
You're
saying.
actually in the podcast app. Not looking at the rundown. Look, he actually is.
Oh, no, I am. I'm
You're
getting...
going to like play last week's episode just
I'm
to see if he
getting-
was there or not. Take his word for it.
Yeah, take my word for it.
I believe you.
How was it, boys? A long week of footy.
You know what? A little too long?
Nah, no such
I
thing
thought it
as
was too long. I actually thought it was too long.
No
I thought
such
yesterday
thing.
went a bit long.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, hey,
Yesterday being Anzac Day.
how can you say that it went too long? You left at 3/4 time, you pissant fan.
That's true.
I stayed to the end because I'm a true fan.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you are a true fan. No, boys, 8 days of football in 10 days has been from Friday through this coming Sunday.
Well, Malios, you hit a good point just before. You said you got an email from Essendon saying, from the coach, about how poor we were, and then 5 minutes later you got team selection for this week.
I know.
It's actually, it feels so
It's weird. It's just
that
weird.
tomorrow footy's back. Friday being footy back.
Yeah.
But anyway, we should have a quick chat about a few of last week's results, boys. What do you think?
Yeah.
I would love to start with the Adelaide Swans game. You know
Bit of a
what?
shock, wasn't it?
Absolute shock. First of all,
Adelaide versus Essendon.
feels like so long ago this game.
I know. That's why I said Adelaide, because everyone's like, hang on, who did Sydney play?
Yeah, exactly.
Because it was 6 days ago.
Yeah, 6 days ago.
Yeah.
I know. By the time people listen
Nuts.
to this, it'll be 6 years ago because that's when Melios will finally get this episode up.
Not true.
So we are in the year
Twat.
2018 for you listeners.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Richmond have won back-to-back premierships, going for a third.
But no, good on Adelaide. Far out. I mean,
I
so many injuries in the world. No one really gave them a chance. I know we didn't. And
Absolutely not.
Sydney, haven't been terrible. And Adelaide just came out really all game. They were the better team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the first bounce, they were just killing it.
I know. Classic Tex Walker, twat as usual. Don't know if...
He dominated, didn't he? Hang on.
Well,
Did he dominate?
Kicked 4 goals,
He
didn't he?
did do okay, but he's just still a twat.
But it's but it is kind of classic Tex Walker because he dominates and then all of a sudden he'll have 1 or 2 really poor games and everyone gets on him and the media harp on him a little bit too much, I think.
Mate, I think the media's got to chill out. I feel like the AFL media and the fans, us included, we knee-jerk far too much.
Yeah,
We're so week
possibly.
to week. We're
I don't.
so week to week.
Oh, mate, you're not week to week. You're 2 week by 2 weeks because team will bounce back.
Sometimes 3.
But
That's why you wanted to put Banter to a fortnight
after all, yeah, that's true.
to suit his...
After all, boys,
You can only beat who you're up against.
you can only beat who you're up
Who
against.
said that? That bloke
You can only
sounds
beat who
really
you're up
smart.
against.
That's
Good on you.
Absolutely.
Slap is the best contribution I've done to this podcast, I reckon.
Oh, you did.
It's probably the only contribution.
Well, it's the best.
You know what, boys? On a bit more of a serious note, I don't know about John Longmire. I just reckon, I think he's gone through a purple patch in terms of the players that he's had. They've been a
had a good
fantastic
squad.
list, but I don't think he's that good a coach. What are your thoughts? I know that could be a bit.
It's something I haven't thought about
Contentious.
before. Not a bad point. I mean, the thing is, he's gotten his team up year after year. Apart from the poor start they had last year, they still ended up making the finals and doing really well. And like, I don't know, like I don't think he's in trouble. But I get what you're
either,
saying.
but-
Like, has he won a flag with them? Was he 2012
he's been
coach?
around
Yeah,
for a
no,
long
he was.
time.
He was.
Yeah,
He
would have
So
to.
he's a premiership winning coach. Yeah, he's gotten some stars around him. I mean, if you take Buddy out, and obviously Adelaide took Buddy out pretty well the other night.
Yeah.
In
It
fact,
shows-
took him out for the next couple of weeks as
Oh,
well because he's injured.
Yeah. It hurts him.
Well, look, I mean, he's won 1 grand final, lost 2. Probably
Yeah.
shouldn't have. They went in favourites in both of those ones they lost as
but
well.
he's coaching an interstate team, and it needs to be played at the G.
Yeah, I know that, but
It's a big factor.
It is. a big
look,
factor.
and at the same time, Sydney are weaker than what they were. Their midfield guys are, a couple of years older than what they were.
Yeah.
They've got a lot more young guys in the
And
team.
they're always getting injured. I mean, Hanbury's out apparently now as well. He
Yeah,
got injured. I don't
yeah.
know what for,
Well,
how long.
look,
but-
I was having a chat to a mate of mine who's a mate of ours, actually, Maxie, he's a Swans fan. He brought up a good point, is that since they've gotten Buddy, obviously Buddy makes them, a better
Yeah.
team and he's the best player in their team.
Yep.
But they've turned away from their real sort of like team spread goal kicking team kind of game where usually be about 10 to 12, midfielders chipping and kicking goals and stuff like that. Now they're very Buddy centric, and you don't blame them. So it's going to be an interesting point with Buddy out now. This could be better for them just to get more guys involved, so they're not going through Buddy.
Yeah,
and kind of like how Hawthorn took it up to another level after Buddy left.
They did. They constantly, and it's been highlighted throughout the weekend that they were constantly going to Buddy, despite having free players in the forward 50.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yeah, good point. We'll see. I think on the other hand, it'd be interesting. Adelaide, they'll have the Suns this weekend at home. They should get that done fairly easily. And if they can, I think that's,
They're back on track a little bit, aren't they? Like they went off the wayside a little bit. They got done by Pies, who we'll talk about soon, obviously, or hit a good vein
this
of
Sydney
form.
win sort of pegs that back. They're kind of back to square one with that.
It does.
So,
It does.
Yeah.
Now, boys, another game. Moving on to the next game I would love to talk about from the weekend is the Saints-Giants. A draw, if you can believe it. The first draw of the year in round 5.
Yep.
Giants do love a draw, don't they, Marius?
They absolutely love a draw.
2 in a row last year and then another one this year.
2 in a row last year.
Yeah, they did.
I reckon I brought that set up earlier tonight with BT.
I never listened to you, know that.
I'm his intel, so
yeah, that's true.
You call me fucking champion data.
But you know what? Good on the Saints. They much like Adelaide have in a way silenced the critics in myself a little bit, because I thought they were done and dusted. But boys, the big talking point out of the game was the Carlisle or mark or lack thereof, or free kick or lack thereof. What are boys' thoughts?
Well, didn't Phil Davis
the boys'
Well, didn't Phil Davis say I got away with one?
Yeah, I think he did. And I think the commentary at the time was that it should have been a free kick.
He
He
should have marked it though.
From where the umpire was standing, though, the free kick was on the opposite side, right?
Was he blindsided a bit?
It was. I reckon he was a bit blindsided, but also at that time of the game,
doesn't matter what time.
I know what you're
it shouldn't
saying.
matter.
I know it shouldn't. I can't. I'm with you,
but it does at the same time.
Yeah, I know.
But it always does happen.
I'm of the view that it was a free kick. I think there was either a marking interference or a high contact, or both, really, and that it was. Do
you think it was enough for him to not mark it? Because I think he dropped the mark.
No, he just dropped the mark.
I think he did drop the mark as well.
Because the contact was kind of after
it was very
dropped
high
it.
though. The kick, if it was like a centimeter,
but
lower.
he would mark those 9 out of 10
He
times.
would, yeah.
Yeah, he would.
He would have been nervous. Hey, can I just play a little snippet from last week of you two flogs?
Oh, geez, this is trouble.
I think the Giants will win, but I give the Saints just because they've been shocking. You don't? I don't know. Do you remember this time last year though? I'm basing this off the.
So you saying they're going to bounce back? Are they?
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. A wise man once said.
Now you two just happened to bloody just. That was a good tip by me. Can I have a ding ding, please?
Oh, you can
Give
have
him
a
one.
ding.
One ding ding.
Yeah.
Thank you
me
very
a
much.
ding because they bounce back.
No way, you don't deserve a ding ding.
back.
I knew that would be a good game.
Yeah, look, I'm happy to be
I didn't tip a draw.
happy to be proven wrong there.
You should have put your money where your mouth was.
Yeah, I know.
Put it on a draw.
No, like Giants by less than 2 goals.
Well, it was a draw, so
a
they
draw.
didn't win.
It was a draw.
You idiot. Yeah, that is slapworthy.
Yeah, fair enough too. I don't know where.
Oh,
I think he
jeez.
realised as he was saying it that he was wrong.
I
No,
know.
I didn't realise until after. Like I got
Absolutely.
slapped. That's when I realised it.
Another game from the weekend, boys, I thought might be worth talking about is the North Hawks game. That was outrageous. The Hawks lost.
Well, they
And
got smashed.
They got smashed. This time last week, we were sitting in these very seats, and I was talking about the gauntlet.
Yes.
I am out of the gauntlet, boys.
You are out, aren't
I
you?
tipped Hawthorn,
Oh.
thinking it was a bit of a risky tip, but I was like, oh, no, it's against North Melbourne. They're the worst team in the AFL. But Brisbane and Carlton. But nonetheless.
I'm not surprised by that because you're the worst tipper. Now I'm the
true.
bloke who tipped West Coast as my gauntlet tip this week, and then everyone was
you
like,
went easy.
"You've got no idea about football," and
Well, I'll tell you what.
I'm the only one left in it.
I'm in it. I had a good tip. I tipped Gold Coast. So I've gotten Gold Coast out of the way.
that's good.
Tip. That's a risky tip.
I know it's a risky tip, but I was looking at the lineups and I thought, Brisbane will give them a bit of a run. And look, they
almost
that was
won.
another one. Rayner
Yeah.
almost won it for
Yep,
him.
yep.
It would have almost
draw.
drawn it. And do you know draws
Keeps you in
count as a win?
Oh,
Because our mate
Oh, yeah,
Edgar,
Fowler.
he's
Yeah.
still in it.
He's still in it. I know
'Cause
he
he
picked
tipped
the
Giants.
Giants.
Yeah.
That's dodgy.
I was
We
like,
should
no,
both
he'll be out because you got to win.
That's what I thought too.
So hang on. So who's out? Just you.
Just me. Yeah, I know. Oh, well.
No,
Yeah.
good. But that good little game, I reckon. It always seems to be a pretty close game, the Q Clash. It's not really ever like a
usually
blowout.
is. No, you're right. Yeah.
I mean, both teams are generally bottom four.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's not
But
really
they put
that
on a bit of a
exciting to
game,
watch.
don't they?
They do, yeah. They got a lot of young players, so sometimes it's good to see the start. That Cam Rayner, who I think was the number one draft pick
He
last
was,
year,
yeah.
he's looking like a good little player, that one.
You'd hope so.
Yeah,
pick
well, you
one.
would hope so, yeah. But I mean, just he looks like kind of ready-made.
Yeah.
Coming out of Saturday and Sunday's games, boys, before we move on to the actual good teams in the Tigs, and that's it.
Kind of can't argue with that, to be honest.
Yeah, thank you.
Depends what you mean
It was
by
a
good.
big day for the Tribunal on Monday night. It was a day off for the rest of us.
I think
but
they fluffed a
big
bit of that, to be
day
honest.
on the Tribunal. What do you mean?
Well, hang on, what went wrong? Well, Burton got off. He didn't go to the tribunal, did he?
No.
No, he just got off.
What were the tribunal cases?
So Thomas,
yeah.
we'll start with Thomas, I think, because
All right.
he got 3 weeks for his bump, and he got given a week by the MRO, which he accepted for rough conduct or something.
That was a separate one, wasn't
Separate
it?
incident.
Yeah.
So he got 4
But
weeks
wasn't
in
it
total.
like just after?
Yeah, it was just after. It was all in
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the
Separate
scuffle of it all.
incident, but
Yeah.
yeah.
So he got 4 weeks in total, and I think that was probably fair. I think that his bump deserved 3.
I was
in
saying
itself.
3 to 4 for the bump. So
Yeah.
It's such a it's a bit of a shame in that he just keeps getting rubbed out. Like he deserves to.
Yeah,
But because
absolutely.
he's still a bit of a talent. Like he kicked a couple of
Yeah.
goals, I think, on the weekend. Like it's just annoying. Like from a Port Adelaide perspective now, and what was a North perspective.
Yeah, it's just he puts himself in really dangerous positions. I mean, obviously, you remember the Gary Rowan, leg
Yeah, of
break.
course,
But
yeah.
and he slid in. That brought in a new rule.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
sliding
Oh,
in
was
rule.
that him?
That was him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's just
Just a dirty player.
The issue is he's a dirty
Yeah,
player.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly right.
Old school dirty player.
And if he doesn't think about what he does, then he absolutely deserves to be scrubbed out week on week.
Deserved suspension.
Week
Because
on
it
week.
wasn't like, say, a Burton where he absolutely didn't mean to knock Higgins out, right? Whether or not you think it's a week or two, I don't think he meant it.
I don't think he did that. I'm agreeing with you. I think he should have got off.
But he should have tackled.
Yeah, he had
No.
the choice. And this is where
He had the choice.
the debate is. But Thomas...
You're saying the bump's dead then, mate. If you're saying you should have tackled, then you're saying there's
The
no
bump's
place.
not dead, but if you knock a bloke out,
If you get them in the head, that's
But
the
it
problem.
doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter if
It
there's
should.
absolutely no intent. Anyway, that's my thoughts. You know what else? Who else kept the match review panel busy or has been this year? Sicily.
Oh,
Another
God.
week for that bloke. What are your boys' thoughts on this?
it's complete dog act.
He's just...
No. Disagree.
what?
I was waiting for you to say those
He
words,
steps...
dog act.
Well, are you talking about Sicily where
Sicily.
he steps on the...
Yes, I'm
He
talking about
stepped on the
Sicily.
bloke's leg.
It was
What do you call it?
so soft.
Okay.
It was a shit
No.
thing to do, but it was so soft.
It's a dog act to me.
No,
it
was
does not belong in the
so
footy
It
field.
doesn't matter if it's like
Doesn't belong in the field.
hardest thing or not. At the end of the day, footy boots hurt, mate, when someone stands on...
Yeah, I understand. Which is why I think the week was probably fair, but it was people after it happened, whether it was Malios or Chip or someone else. After it happened, people were up in arms.
Because it's Sicily,
Like he
though.
just murdered somebody. I'm telling you, it was like dead serious business.
Yeah, well, half of that is because of the act. Half of it is because it's Sicily.
That's true, and that's probably a fair point. But
This is the bloke
Up
who
in
just
arms.
first came back from his initial suspension.
I
To
get
then do
that.
that. If you're a Hawks fan, you'd be livid because he keeps on letting you down
Oh,
with
he
dumb
does.
shit like
So
this.
I personally,
super
I actually
coach.
find it more dog than what Lindsay Thomas did because Lindsay Thomas was just a quick rush of blood to the head.
No way.
And he opted to go in that millisecond, opted to go the man, which was the wrong decision. Sicily just walked up, had plenty of time to think about it, and steps on the guys.
I still think
I'm
though,
with
it's
Chip.
all about the end result, and it was a soft act. And if we're gonna,
no, but you
I
can't
think-
say that if you said Ryan Burton should have got off and then that wasn't about the end result and now it is.
no, it's
you,
but
you
it's,
can't
it's
have it
gotta
both
be,
ways.
No, but there's a balance. There's a balance to it, and if it's a soft act which results in a massive injury, right, then you have to toss that up as well. But my point is that it was so soft. and it resulted in so little an injury.
It didn't cause. Yeah, you're right about
No,
that.
but
But that's not the point.
But if you
but
say
it's
if you
both.
don't give
Imagine
him a
kids
week,
watching that.
but if you don't give him a week, then
I'm
you're
saying he should have got a week. I'm absolutely saying he should have got a week,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
but
I think he should have got a week.
My
and he got a
point
week.
is that people were up in arms like he'd murdered somebody.
Yeah, but
and that he should have got 5 weeks.
Yeah, no, I agree. But
I
I
don't
think
think
a
this
lot
is
of
the case.
that. No, I don't think he should have gotten more than one. But a lot of it is because it's Sicily.
Well, but then it also
Yeah.
shouldn't be to an extent.
But
Like,
could you, look, put it
no,
this
but
way:
that's
if Trent Cotchin had done it,
Mhm.
right,
here we go.
there would no. What I'm saying is
He
there
wouldn't-
wouldn't
he
have
wouldn't have
been
got a week anyway.
It would have been thrown out. But if Trent Cotchin had done it,
Waiting for that.
no. I am trying to make a point. If Trent Cotchin had done it, he might have gotten a week, but there wouldn't have been anywhere near as much fanfare. There would have been, oh, geez, that's surprising from Trent Cotchin, but it wouldn't have been like, let's pitchforks and axes going at him, right? Like they were for Sicily. Because you're right, there was a lot of that.
Yeah,
because
I
of
reckon
Sicily.
there still would have been a bit though if it was any
There
other
would
player.
for any player there is going to be a bit because it's a dog act, but
it doesn't belong in the field.
Yeah, I didn't know we had that.
Yeah, man. I've got everything. And then the other one, just to polish off the Tribunal news, was that Selwood
Oh,
of the
thank
Joel
God
variety
got
got
off.
off. Yeah, and
'Cause that
I
was-
agree. I think it was pretty soft.
And then,
as well.
and kind of like with Sicily, there was uproar. There was uproar because he got off because people think he's a protected species. Look, he may have,
he is a protected
he
species.
might be in ways like with the umpires on the ground, but when it comes to he was like a tiny little jumper punch.
What do you think? I'm interested to hear your thoughts because it was after Thomas killing his brother.
Yeah,
Forget that it's his brother. I think you got to factor in that if some bloke's wrestling and doing some stuff, he didn't whack him. He just sort of sort of brushed his face with his fist.
Yeah.
You got to factor in that this bloke has just
AKA a punch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
his actions has incited this as well. So that should be.
Do you reckon they do?
No.
I wondered this.
No, mate, no. Okay, here's one for you. If I'm taunting Chip Road out at a club and he one punches me to death, right?
Which has happened.
If his defense is, oh, he was taunting me, right? And his response is to my taunts, then should he get off? Absolutely not.
Yeah, well, Joel Selwood didn't one punch.
I know what you're saying.
That's my
Melios.
point. My point is it doesn't make it right. I still think it was fine what he did,
Yeah,
but it
me
doesn't
too.
make it right
Yeah.
if it's in response.
Yeah, fair enough. I just wanted to get your opinion.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thanks for asking my opinion. The other couple of games we'll quickly touch on, boys. I think we should just rush through the Tigers game because we got it done. I think fairly easily.
Yeah. They kind of
gave
pushed
us
you a little
bit of a
bit.
scare in the third, but then we got it done. And
You
look,
just
it's a-
grinded them down.
yeah, we did. We really did. It was a good
Yeah.
night. It was a good, another good Anzac Day
You know what?
crowd.
Touch poor crowd. I
Touch
thought.
poor, 77.
Like not a
but
bad crowd. A
I think
bloody
it was
good
just
crowd.
it was meant to be average weather, and it turned
And
out okay.
I think
Yeah.
because the D's got smashed last week by Hawthorn.
Hawthorn.
They got smashed by Hawthorn. So that probably drops maybe
It probably does.
2,000 people.
Yeah. But look, it was good. It was good, ceremony again, and happy to get the win, of course. But
Yeah.
your boys,
Ugh.
Disgusting.
absolutely pathetic. You are a disgrace to the AFL.
Are you reading off a script here?
No, I'm not reading.
He's
off a
rereading the
script.
messages he sent to
I
us last
should.
night.
I should.
You know, every time I get messages that start with "you are the most," and I always read it in that mod. Like this right in front of me. Like, you are the most
I'm telling you.
pathetic drug cheating.
You
team."
are absolutely pathetic. All you flogs do is, as I wrote to you last night, or this morning, in fact, you perform well for 10 minutes. They suck you in to buy the merch that you're wearing, the scarves that you're wearing, the memberships that you've got probably in your microwaves right now. All these bandwagons join up and you get 80k of you flogs, and they ultimately just piss you off. All your hopes and dreams have been shat on
This is a long
once
monologue.
again. And it will happen at the end of the year. It'll happen next year, and you should be kicked out of the AFL.
Okay,
Can I just?
Are you done?
Can I just say?
I'm done.
No, did you take a breath in that entire?
I know, I
You
did.
got a good set of lungs on you, mate.
I'm actually worried, right?
Here we go.
And I'll tell you why, Chip.
Yeah.
Because who knows this better than a fucking Richmond supporter
I know.
like you?
Go
So
on.
he wins one flag,
I know.
and one good year,
I know.
and all of a sudden he knows
you
how
believe-
everything's going to sort of pan out.
Boy,
You know, this is like. Have you guys seen
I'll just play
Stranger
this.
Things? Have you guys seen Stranger
yeah.
Things? You know
We're in
the
the
upside
upside
down.
down.
Where
We're in it.
A Richmond supporter is calling another supporter a bandwagoner.
boys, all
We
I'm
are
saying,
in the upside down
We are
right
top
now.
of the ladder. Top of the ladder.
What is happening?
And you know what? Some talking points from your game, other than the pathetic performance that you twats put on, was the number one twat of all twats, BJ Goddard. I'm telling you, boys.
I'm going to back him in, you know.
He is an idiot.
Nah.
There is something going on at your club. If you are almost as bad as Adelaide at the moment, you have obviously got some mental issues. And when I say mental issues, as in, like, there's some clear teamwork issues that need to be sorted out, whether it's stemmed from one person in BJ himself or the greater team. I obviously don't know.
I don't think it's that dire straits,
No, it absolutely
Why
is.
do you say that?
Absolutely lost it at the
he
players.
did, yeah,
Absolutely lost it.
He didn't absolutely lose it.
Absolutely lost it.
No, you and the media and all these people in the public.
Mate, are you blind?
I watched it. I was like, I better see this because this is going to be bad. He was just speaking very, like, emotionally.
Animated.
But animated.
It doesn't
But
matter.
that's not the worst he's done. I've seen him way angrier than that.
But the difference is that
I've seen him hit a
people
cup
like
of pretzels
people
over.
like Zaharakis didn't just accept it as it was, but he fought back, and
Good.
that's a bad
No, but
sign.
no,
that is a bad
Oh,
sign.
shut up.
If
No,
you've
it's
got
not.
your players arguing on the field, that is not a good
So
sign.
you don't think anyone in the AFL on the ground has ever argued?
Have you seen that kind of argument?
I've seen it before. I've
between
seen worse.
players.
I've seen it a lot from him, right?
no,
As an
you
individual.
have not.
from
Can
him.
I just say, if a team is struggling like we were that day and stuff wasn't working out, of course someone's going to... I want someone to, like, speak up and yell out. I'm not worried
I
by
was
that.
actually kind of happy about it when
I would
saw
be
it.
worried if we weren't doing that.
I
If
agree.
one
No,
would
but
be
the
if they were
difference
flat and
is-
not doing nothing, I'd be worried.
A true leader of a club will not have players talk back to him like that. A true leader of the club will be able to rally the troops instead of just yelling at others, which then incites further yelling at each other. And it didn't happen with one player. It's not as though Zaharakis was also just as fired up, right? Joe Danaher also got yelled at and also yelled back. It is bad signs
didn't see
for
him
your
yell back.
absolute pus
I saw
club.
Zaharakis have a little bit of a
Yeah.
go back, but I didn't see Danaher.
There was
say
some
anything
bits
back.
Joey looked like he was trying to calm him down, but also I think he was admitting that he maybe messed something up. But the thing was, there was a lot of stuff wasn't working that day, whether it was midfield stuff, the forward line was the structure and the movement it wasn't working. Everything was just out of whack. And it felt like a lot of the guys we were stagnant for the whole game. People weren't running hard enough. I think he was just sort of calling someone and saying, hey, you didn't do this right. This is what you've got to do. And then I want to see
Mate,
that.
I would love to see it that calm. Hey, mate, you didn't do this right. Can you just try doing this?
But that's the thing. Like, my opinion.
That's the kind of bloke he is.
I'm sort of in the middle, right? Like, I don't think it's as terrible as you're making it out to be, BT.
It is.
I don't think it is. I think it's. I don't necessarily like seeing that from, like, especially Zaharakis and Goddard. I don't like seeing them, like, have a real go at each other, right? But at the same time, I do like that emotion, and I do, because it does show that they care. It does show that they want to win.
Yeah.
It may not have been delivered in the right way. It may not have been, and maybe he knows that now. I'm sure that there have been internal conversations.
Absolutely, there would have been.
I'm sure there has been, but like at the end of the day, like I think if they're all in it for that same reason, then I mean it can be a bit of a trigger to go on the incline, you know, to go up a bit. But yeah, look, I mean it's a good debate. I don't think it's as dire as that.
It is
but-
dire. You
but
boys at
I
the
just-
end of this season will be getting rid of Goddard.
Well,
Your
he's gonna
coach will be
retire anyway,
gone.
probably.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
also think about the bloke. He came in here 6 weeks into his career at Essendon.
Yeah, he's
The
that-
drug
he's that.
thing starts. And then he, you know, like he's been through a lot of shit.
I have thought about that with him. I thought he
It's
was
gonna make
already
him
an angry
angrier.
man,
to be honest,
and
boys,
he rocks up.
That's completely...
I can't believe you just brought up that you did drugs. I've never heard you acknowledge it.
I didn't... Hang on a second.
The drug
Hold on a
thing.
second.
You boys should be kicked out of the league.
I didn't
tell ya.
acknowledge anything.
Regardless of the drug
was
saga,
Were there positive
saga.
tests? I just
regardless of
There
the
was zero
drugs,
positive
drugs
tests.
saga, which brought the game, our great game, into disrepute.
Mate, Richmond are constantly bring the game into disrepute.
Irrecoverable consequences.
Eric, are you drunk, mate?
It's really hard to say.
I was thinking just. I was going to say it's not a word, but I was like, oh, maybe it is a word. I'm just an idiot.
Yeah, you're probably right. It's
not a word.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, yes, Anzac Day, we played
Drug
really poorly.
sheets.
But Collingwood, on the other hand, the one thing that they did that won the game for them, I reckon, was their zoning, and they did not allow us to go
Yeah,
up the
they
middle.
ran a lot hard. Yeah. Mate, I'll tell you how you beat Essendon. Block the corridor.
Yeah.
We don't know what to do.
No. And we were just chipping it in the back line for
Yeah.
the entire game. It was shocking. And then they would just get these little crappy Richmond goals, like, right in front of goal with these little 2-year-olds kicking the ball. Like it was
exactly. That's exactly how we win every game. That's how we won a premiership last year, mate.
Higgins. He's like 6 years old and he's kicking. Seriously,
mate, he kicked 4 goals.
How much are they frothing over this guy? I guarantee he won't be in the game in 3 years. You mark my words.
Oh, here you go. I don't know about that.
2 years. Bring it down to 2 years.
Malios knows a good bet when he sees one, and that is not a good bet.
Won't be in the game.
I think it is a bit angry. It's still raw. The game was yesterday.
Yeah,
1 year. Won't be in the game in 1
next
Won't
week.
be next week. To be honest, he could get dropped. He actually might. Anyway, let's
Tim will get another message.
Let's talk about the future, boys. We've had 1 day off, and we're back straight into it tomorrow.
Yeah,
it's good to see. Although it's not really good to see because it is the Dogs Carlton on a Friday night. We did speak about the stats a few weeks ago, and I remember you guys cooked it. You got it wrong. Classic. So we won't talk too much about that unless you boys have got anything specific to add.
To cut to the first game.
Yeah.
I reckon I actually give Blues a bit of hope in this. I
do too, but
I think I'll tip the Dogs, but I just think
after the way they played against North, I kind of don't at the same time.
Who?
Yeah,
Blues.
The Blues
Got beaten by 86 points.
They got embarrassed.
Yeah,
by 86
but
points.
then they did well against Eagles, so it's I mean
Eagles
they
who don't know how to play out of the Perth.
Yeah, that's true.
Out of the Perth.
I thought I said the Perth.
Not a bad game. Not a bad game on starting the Saturday though, with Geelong taking on the Sydney Swans. Although Swans are a bit injury depleted now with Buddy out.
Yeah, I think that could be good though.
But so would Geelong.
Yeah, I reckon this could be an all right game.
Where is GS?
It's GMHBA Stadium.
Oh, is that
correct?
Okay.
Yeah. Geelong Stadium.
Geelong, yes. It's good old Skilled. What happened to Skilled? Cardinia Park.
Yeah.
I like it, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
don't really have much to add to that game. I think that's going to be it'd be all right, but
you'd think the Cats.
No Buddy. As we
it's that kind of
before.
season though where Swans will win this, just like Adelaide beat Swans last week, and Port beat Swans a few weeks ago. Like it's just
mate. If you're that certain, put him in your gauntlet.
I was just thinking about who I'm going to
You're
put
not
in
going to do that.
I'm gonna ask all you, but hey, maybe not you, BT. I'm
don't
going to
ask
ask
me.
you, Melios, who your gauntlet's going to be. So have a think about that.
I will. Is there some nuffy games coming up?
I know. I'm literally scrolling through the list right now. We've got North Power.
Super
That's
Saturday
absolutely
is not that super.
No. Giants, Lions, terrible.
Hey, I want your tip out of North and Port because I reckon that could be a bit of a 50-50.
Port.
No, I'm going to go North at Etihad.
Go on,
Are you gonna
gauntlet, mate. Gauntlet.
I'm not going to gauntlet it. Nah, I won't gauntlet it, but I'll tip them. I'll tip North.
You bitch.
Oh, mate, you're out. You went out on Hawthorn.
The fact is, I would gauntlet them if I could.
But you can't.
Anyway, can't hear anything. Just lost sound here, boys. Now we're back.
Yeah,
No,
there you go.
we're
There
back
you
now. No, still can't hear anything.
Hawkers Saints down at US, which is I'm assuming it's in Tassie.
It's a long flight.
Yeah, it is.
It says US.
The old UTAS Stadium. Nothing like it down there.
Down in Hawks don't really lose down there.
I was going to say, Chip, like you're the number one fan of St Kilda. and you know how they're going to play. You know how they play. Oh, you must go down to watch them train because you know how they front.
Yeah, no, look, Danny Frawley was here a couple of hours ago and we're having a bit of a chat about him. And yeah, no, they're doing all right.
Okay.
I think they'll lose this game though.
Right, okay. Yeah, I think so too. I'd agree with you there.
I think
Do you reckon they'll tag Tom Mitchell?
Well, I'll tell you what.
What did Danny Frawley say? Because if they will, I think this is the week I don't make Tom Mitchell my captain.
Who would tag him from St Kilda?
Anyone.
How good was Ben Jacobs tagging? He has to be the best tagger in the game, bar none. I can't think
of another tagger.
Well, it's actually gone out of the game a bit, but he's the best tagger in the game. Full show. Hey, our classic Sunday games, Daniel Melios. We have another Sunday game. We have discussed the Essendon curse on Sunday afternoons.
I've done the math. I've done the stats though. I've done the research.
Have you really?
This is a 110 game, right?
Yeah.
That is
disaster
hell.
for us.
That is absolute hell for the Essendon Football Club, and it's ironic that we're playing the Demons too. So
Hey, here we go.
Hey, not bad. But you did some stats, right?
I did. I love the Statman intro.
Oh, it's so good.
I'm a Statman. So we've had a terrible Sunday record, as we know, and we.
Fine day, Sunday. In my opinion, best day of the week. Why is that, Dudley?
Because there's no post on Sundays.
What is that? What was that last bit?
Can you not play the last bit again?
No post on Sundays, boys.
Yeah, what's the... I get it, Harry
Why is
Potter.
that, Dudley?
Because there's no post on Sundays.
I'm
No
fucking
post
muting that
on
'cause that's
Sundays.
fucking annoying.
Hey, watch your language, please, mate. We've got got to
Sorry.
respect the listeners' ears.
What
I'm
was
sorry.
that last bit?
I don't know. It's just part of a remix.
So hang on, there's no context behind that last bit. You
Nope.
just thought you'd add it in.
Well, no, I didn't.
You're
add it.
ruining my stat, by the way.
Mate, well, hurry up and give us your dumb
I
stat.
can't do it when you're bloody doing this noise on top of it.
This is the 80th time he's played it in the last second.
So Chip Road,
Yes.
since 2016,
Yes.
Essendon are 4-14 on Sunday
Oh,
games.
that is horrific.
What about since 2013?
No good.
Well, it
12.
fares a bit better. I actually didn't put the calculations there, but
You also
this is-
included 2016 where we won 2 games.
I know that. This is the numbers. So this year we're 1-1, obviously. Last year,
Actually, we're pretty good on Sundays.
50%'s not bad. Last year though, we were 2-5.
Yeah, okay, that's not great.
That's not great. 1-8 in 2016. It gets a bit better. From 2015, we're 4-3. 2014,
Do you know what I think
3-2.
it is?
2013,
Looking back a
2-2.
little bit now, I think we lose unexpectedly on Sundays. I think last year we lost to
They're
Brisbane.
shock losses.
Yeah,
They're just, we don't play well.
Bulldogs a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
Um,
Melbourne when Joey kicked 1-6.
Yep. It was this time last year, actually.
Yep.
This is
So
terrible,
I
boys.
actually reckon it's that. I reckon it's unexpected losses. But in saying that, this is a classic Essendon game where
We lose.
after a
We
no,
lose.
after
we
a
bounce
terrible loss,
We bounce, but say it. Say it.
we
Say it.
come back and we play a bit better. We bounce back.
Yeah, true. You know what, though, boys? Coming up against Melbourne, all I can say is...
You can only beat who you're up against.
So you just never know. You just never know.
True. It's very true. Whoever said that's a genius.
Yeah,
I actually don't know who
absolute
I'm going to tip in that game. Essendon and Melbourne, because Melbourne lost Petrarca. We've lost a few players as well.
Yeah.
Begley out for ACL.
ACL.
See what happened to Petrarca?
Did his dog bit him?
His dog bit his finger.
Surely you play the dog.
Oh, yeah. So,
I was waiting for it. I'm like, what are you doing?
I watched my finger.
And you know what? Jordan De Goey's asking him right now, so how did you actually sell that story about your dog? Because Buckley didn't buy it when I said
No, didn't buy it at all.
Oh, God. Yeah, so a couple of outs. I think I'm going to stick with... Do you know I have gotten every
who?
single
Who
tip...
are you sticking
I
with?
don't know because I've gotten every single tip wrong on Essendon after round 1. I tipped Essendon in round 1, we won.
Yeah.
Since
Oh,
then...
you tipped Port, didn't you?
Since then, I've not gotten a tip right with Essendon because I've either tipped us when we've lost or I haven't tipped us when we've won.
Very good, boys. Let's move on to the next game. The
I'm tipping
game of
Essendon.
the round. The Tigs, yet again, are just going to absolutely train through the Collingwood Pies, I hope.
You really
anyway.
should.
I know. I really hope we should and do.
I hope you lose.
Do you know what I noticed, by the way, on the Collingwood thing? They didn't play Nothing Else Matters.
They
Oh, they
didn't.
dropped
They've
it.
ditched
True.
They've
Yeah.
ditched it already.
Well, I'll let you know. Well, but whose home game was it?
Collingwood's.
Oh, twats.
Do you reckon that's why
Sucked
there was a
in.
punch on between the Collingwood supporters after the game? Do you guys see that?
No, I
There
heard
was a
about it, though.
brawl
No, of
between
course
Collingwood
there
supporters
was.
at their end.
Such nuffs.
It's because
Of
someone was
course.
like, bring back Nothing Else Matters. And then some other one was just like, no. And then that was it. It was on. Slap.
Not so. Oh, sorry, mate.
You're not on tonight. You should give me this duty. I'm a bit
you'd
more
be
on, I reckon.
terrible.
You are a bit-
Oh, no, wrong one.
absolutely
You are a
terrible.
bit off, though.
No, I'm okay.
I'd say that is not the game of the round. In terms of a spectacle, it is. But the game of the round, I actually think is Fremantle versus West Coast
It always...
at Domain.
There's a lot of fire and spite and...
It's not Domain. It's Optus.
Optus.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna
There
guess-
is a lot of
I
fire
couldn't
and
guess
spite,
that.
and there was a bit of fire and spite throughout the week, boys. And we're going to just do a quick news bite for our Western Australian. Oh, you want the dog as well? For our Western Australian listeners, of which I'm sure there's plenty. But the Glenfiddich medal. There was some controversy throughout the week. Glendenning, sorry.
what is-
Glenfiddich is
Gee,
a...
are you all right?
It's a type of whiskey.
Is it
It is too.
No, I think it's Fiddick.
It's Glenfiddich.
Got it close anyway. Glendenning medal.
No, you're way off.
I think we should admit him after.
3-year-old
Yeah, that's a slap for me. Don't
He's
worry.
a 3-year-old child anyway. So
Yeah, no,
we'll give
actually,
him that one.
I just tried to. God, when I went into the store the other day, they asked for my ID, and I had to sulk off because I was like, "Sorry, I don't have any." Anyway, Glendenning medal.
Ditched it.
They ditched it, but apparently in fairly breaking news, it's back. But I don't know. It's
is it really?
Apparently, they came to some
talk about a knee-jerk reaction from the media.
Yeah.
Well,
the AFL.
But it was gone. As in, Freo said, no, we don't want a bar of it.
I don't get that.
Commercial reasons is what they said.
Actually, I heard that. It was about a sponsor.
Yeah, exactly.
How does that even happen?
It doesn't. That's the thing. It was an absolute blatant lie. But apparently the real reason for it was because it's a West Coast player, ex-West Coast player.
Yeah.
And it was, nothing to do
So
with Freo.
are they renaming it or?
It's kind
I don't
of
know,
fair.
actually.
Maybe they should have just said, hey, maybe we should add a
split.
Fremantle, like a Freo name to it.
Yeah, like Glendenning.
Peter Bell.
Well, here we go.
I was going to say one like
Derby
Hayden
medal
Ballantyne or something
saved and will be
Ryan
renamed.
Yeah, Crowley.
Crowley. They reckon...
or bloody Rove McManus, his cousin, Sean.
Chris Main.
They think
he's a
that it
Collingwood
could
now.
possibly be renamed...
You're going to rename the Collingwood BNF the main medal?
Yeah.
Matthew Pavlich.
The main event.
You boys aren't listening anyway.
Nah,
so
sorry.
yeah?
Oh, yeah, you definitely go Pav.
Yeah, Pav's a good one.
It is a good one. But it's still TBC.
Hey, I got a stat for you. Paul Hazelby won that medal 4 times.
Mate, call it the Hazelby medal.
Yeah, that's true because he's won it a lot.
I'm a scat man.
True. I want your tip from that game actually because it's probably one of the only games where it's a hard tip.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Eagles. I just think
Me
with
too.
their forwards,
I think
Me
so
too.
just
too.
think they're Eagle with McGovern in back.
Yeah. It's I haven't decided yet. I'm on the fence because I feel like Freo.
Get off it.
Yeah.
Get
you
off
idiot, mate. What are you going to do? Tip the draw?
Well, fuck it, Freo.
Oh,
Sorry
my
for swearing.
gosh.
You have sworn 3 times.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Every week, like B2, stop swearing in banter.
I know.
And you swear your head off. Hey, who's your gauntlet tip, Melios? Have you mulled it over? I've picked mine. It's Friday night, the Doggies against the Blues.
I'm going to say the Crows.
So you're going weak ones.
Oh, I know.
You're going,
is
like, super
so
weak.
But you know what? That's fine because, mate, when
He's gonna have to pick 'em.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have to pick
No,
him.
you would go the Dogs because
Do you want my theory?
No, we don't.
Adelaide's got to
We don't want it. We don't want the theory. Don't push
Actually,
him. Do not press him for the theory. 'Cause I
BT,
do not want to hear the theory.
BT,
The listeners don't want to hear the
you'll
theory.
benefit from this theory because you were out first week.
The listeners do not.
You could-
I'm out. It's fine. I'm out. I don't need to listen to
For
it.
next
I'm
year,
out.
mate. For next year.
I'm out. I'm done.
Chip, how many times in the last few weeks of the season are good teams upset because the finals race when they've qualified and then some other, crappier teams are trying to win in desperation? There's upsets.
it has never happened in the history of the AFL.
Correct. Never happened.
So your theory is shocking.
Looks like I'm going to win Gauntlet.
Oh, man.
boy.
Mate, when the Blues win this week, we'll be having.
I would love it if Gold Coast beat Adelaide this week. I will be rooting
There's
for
more
Adelaide.
chance Carlton beat the Dogs than the Suns beating the Crows.
That is true, but that just shows how weak you are.
Boys, I reckon that'll do us for this week. What do you think?
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know if I'll be back next week because
Why?
just again, it's so hard dealing with you boys for 1 hour.
Seems like you're having fun now.
It
Well,
does.
I mean, let's be
I'm doing it
honest.
for the listeners, I got to put on this happy voice for the listeners.
I wouldn't.
Actually, it's not really
They
Mario
hate
to
ya.
do it. It's bloody Chip, bro. He's absolutely clueless, mate. I don't know how you do it with him when I'm not here.
Oh, we
You
don't-
might as well just bloody stay the night because it's Thursday night. We'll be bloody filming banter again in about 24 hours.
I know. Gosh. Well, it was nice recording
was
a
a
show
good
that
one.
people weren't here for another 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So.
That's it. You know what?
It'll be round 12. It's like, hey, what's he
I
talking
just-
about Anzac Day for?
As a parting note, I just want to thank BT for not being that insufferable tonight.
Oh, I know.
I thought it'd be a lot worse.
What do you mean?
I think we're just used to it.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you'd just be a lot worse with Essendon.
And you were pretty bad tonight too. Like that, it actually shows that you're pretty insufferable most of the time, mate.
I'm not insufferable. I just tell it as it is. And
You
as
went on
it
a monologue about
is
BJ
that-
Goddard for 6 weeks.
Oh, and fair enough too. That and also the fact that you should be excluded from the league is absolutely 100% fair. You are a disgrace to the AFL. You're a disgrace to Australia. In fact, you're a disgrace to this earth that we live on. And you should be absolutely packed up into
All I
the
can do
next,
is laugh.
the next Tesla
just-
rocket, the next SpaceX rocket. You should be packed into
that, like,
sardines,
mini,
the sardines
like,
and little twats that you are,
kid
and
who's
absolutely
just not quite right.
shipped off to
in, like,
Mars.
in like primary school, and the parents try to keep you away from that that, like,
Yeah.
you know, you just he's
Your
not quite
parents
right.
obviously stuffed up, boys. Come
There's
still
a
here.
screw loose. It didn't do well.
No, exactly. All right, boys. I think that'll do us for this week. I'll maybe see you next week, as I said, if I can be bothered putting up with you.
See you, mate.
You're listening to the Footy Banter podcast with Ben, Chris, and Dan.